Welcome back, everybody. This is going to be my third part of the Squeeze Shark video where you're going to learn how to loft sketches between this side of the lower jaw and over here. If I go to translucent, it's much more clear. That's what I'm talking about here. This is going to be a sketch. Whoop. So hover over the sketches here. We're going to put a sketch there. We're going to create a plane to put another sketch on the other side. We're going to use a loft and remove command, meaning we're just, instead of adding material, removing material and connecting those two rectangles to chop an opening. And then after that, we're going to get into putting a sketch in here on the top plane, which will be symmetrically extruded to build the neck. And as this happens, what I'm going to show you is how to add this the right way to the body to build it by merging the specific extrude with different parts. So what I did, I just want to make sure if you jump a gun and try and do this on your own, if you get to this point, you're going to do a symmetric extrude that's a millimeter narrower, or this extrude is going to be a millimeter thinner than the opening of this slot. So I made a 16 millimeter wide slot, and this is going to be 15 millimeters symmetrically extruded. And then as I go, I click down here and here for the merge scopes, and that blends everything into the parts the way I want it to after all is said and done. So you'll see that that's all workable, and it would 3D print down on its side like this and build this bridging. You can see there's just a little bit of gap. It's actually a half a millimeter on either side mathematically in mind. And the 3D print systems actually have the ability to pull that stuff through the air and create gaps like this. And when you pop it off a platform, it'll be a flexible moving toy, which is really pretty neat. Anyway, let's get after it. This is done by, number one, clicking over here to start a sketch. And you'll use a rectangle, but a center point rectangle, to find the midpoint of the part from left to right here. And then if you mouse over this line, it's going to give you an indicator that shows you where the midpoint of that line is. So what I'm looking for is this intersecting at the center of that straight line that I created when I built this part. So I'm going to pull this out. You don't need to reorient this. I need to make sure that the measurements are what I want them to be. This is going to be 15. Let's see. 15 for the length of the rectangle there. And when I hit enter, it's just going to jump to the next measurement for me. And then I'll hit 16 with what I want it to be on this particular drawing. All right. And that's all you have to do on that side. Now, what I'll do is hover over. You can see if I click even on this part one is isolated. It's the head, it's separate. What I want to do is hide that. Then I'm going to put a new plane over here. Click the plane button. Click the surface over here that we just worked on. And it's going to flip it for me in the wrong direction, which is fine. We can just grab the arrow and move it. And it doesn't have to be anywhere but close to this side of the jaw. So you have to get in there pretty close and space it. You want it as close as you can get it without it being inside that wall. Now, that dotted line represents the cut on the other side. And what I want to do is transfer that to use it and help out with the drawing. Watch this. Reorienting is a little tricky sometimes. You click on planes and you want to see things the way you want to see them. What I want to do is use this to help construct the slot on the other side. The one on the other side is going to have to be up a little bit higher, so this goes through at an angle. What I can do here is start a sketch, click this tool where it says use or project or convert. I can move sketch lines around. So I'm going to click that, and then the button right next to it, also click to turn the construction tools on, or construction lines on. So what's going to happen is I'm going to go back to this side. I'm going to hover over, make sure I see that rectangle I just made, and click it, and it's going to shoot it over onto the new plane, but in dotted lines, which means it's just there for measurement purposes. Then what you'll do is click the rectangle tool, make sure that this construction tool is turned off, go down just a little bit over the center point here is what I'm looking for. So if you hover over the center and then you hover over the sideline here, you'll see you get a center point there. You can go up a little bit above it, or just start right at the center at this point. It's fine. But the point of this, sorry, is for you to, I've got to change the type of rectangle we're using. Right click, and I'm going to escape that. If you started doing what I just did, just escape out of it. You're going to use a corner point rectangle. I'm sorry for that. When you do this, the idea is you can hover over these lines now, and then use those to indicate that your slot is going to be the same width from side to side on the body of what you're building here. So if I leave it this way and just click, I'm going to make this measurement up and down 15, and then the measurement from side to side is locked in space because it's aligned over here to that. And that's up a little bit too high. So here's the story. I'm going to escape key for you. I have to right click and escape, and you can drag this down. And what you want to do is look at it from the side and see if this is low enough to align with the shark head, which you can turn that back on and see that. And this is just going to cut through this part. Right now, the shark head is irrelevant. Okay. It looks like it's in the right place. I can always go back and modify this. So yeah, you're going to, not extrude at all. You're going to Loft. Undo that. You're clicking two profiles. This rectangular profile up here. Oh, didn't select it. There it goes. Let's select the face of that sketch, and I need to select the face of this sketch, and I need to change this to a remove, and it's going to wipe out the space in between. And that's a Loft. So then I can turn this back on. You can see that Loft has no impact on the head. But then what you'll do is drop this menu down here, click translucent, and make sure that if this is turned off, you click on the top plane, which is the plane that runs down the center of the shark. The drawing is going to be on that and symmetrically extruded, so we're just going to click sketch on the top plane, click top over here to make sure you're looking straight at it. And this is another great use moment for the user project lines. And click this line here and these two here, since we're going to use those to build the bar that connects everything. And then you can put a straight line in from, if it doesn't end up aligning for you this way, this is flexible. This doesn't have to be exact, is all I'm saying. If you start this up here, this is fine. I'm going to start right at this bottom corner and just connect a line from here through the neck, escape the line, put another line. I can even use this line if I like, start another line, move around after I hover over it. It's going to give me indicators like to make that bar parallel lines between these two. But that's actually all it takes. This you may or may not want to use, so I did that. But the extrude is just 1 millimeter short. It's a symmetric extrude, 1 millimeter short, which means 15 millimeters since the slot opening is 16 millimeters. You get a half on each side. There you go. And I don't want it to be its own separate part. This could actually make it not 3D print right if it were to be printed. So that's a good learning moment. What you can do is add this to the rest of it by going like this, add, and then you click here where it's giving an error because it doesn't know what to connect it to. So you click here where it says merge scope, and then you can click on the body part. I can click on the head part as well. and make sure that it's fusing together properly. So it's brought it down to just having that one part there. And if I go back into my menu here, click shaded, you can see how that works. And if you wanted to even refine it further, you can look at this thing and translucent. And like if you were to print this multiple times, you might see that this, as it moves, doesn't really clear things properly here. So you can round over edges with things like fillets, something in there, and even up there to change how things fit. And that can be modified further. And I can, same thing in here. I can put in rounds. I can round out the outside edges of things like this, and it'll all print nicely. But the idea is that it's printing down on its side. Situation like this, and you have enough clearance, you can actually print as it's printing from the bottom up with an fused printing machine. You're going to be able to bridge gaps as long as it doesn't have to travel through too far in the air. It'll work. Pretty amazing stuff. So that's how you can make a flexi toy. It's just a simple bendy part, just based on the design, and a bunch of little tool tricks as you go. So good luck. Thanks for watching.